Nobody meets Home Alone in a movie with a little heart and a lot of Santa slaying. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nightmare Collective. I'm Chris. Thanks for stopping by and watching my review for Violent Night. So Violent Night is directed by Tommy Burkola, if I'm saying his name right. He's best known for the Dead Snow series, which I really enjoyed both of those films. So I was excited to see kind of how he translated that into like an American action movie. I enjoyed this movie overall, so let me give you a brief synopsis and I'll get into like what I like, what I don't like. And at the very end, I'm going to go into a few of the kills that I think are superb, you know, a Christmas joy or present. So let's get into this. So basically what this is about is you follow a girl named True and her parents who have been recently separated. They're definitely on thin ice, if you will. And so they're going to the family compound and they're basically just like mega rich. And then this leads to John Leguizamo's character, Scrooge, as he calls himself in the movie, wanting to break in and steal the family's vault of like $300 million. This is thwarted by, you know, the coincidence that Santa Claus, who is real in this universe, actually is coming to the house at the same time that they are kind of breaking in and going about their business here. So this is kind of where like the nobody part with Santa Claus like beating up all these guys mixed in, and then you've got a couple like Home Alone references with True making some booby traps for these guys. There's a lot of references in this movie to like other Christmas movies. So you've got those. There's a Santa Claus reference, you know, where he's like saying his name in there. He's like, Papo Gijo. He didn't say it like that. I wish he did. It would have been great. But he does go through all the names that he's called. So there's a lot of like other Christmas references in this movie, which I did find pretty enjoyable and pretty funny. So that's kind of our brief premise of what we've got going on. These two things kind of collide, and then it's up to Santa to save the day. So what I like about this movie, David Harbour plays Santa Claus, and I think he does a really good job playing Santa Claus, a Santa Claus who has kind of lost hope in like humanity and the kids of that day, because all they want is cash and video games and like stupid shit. And so he is just kind of like begrudged, and we meet him in a bar like drinking his troubles away, and he comes across a mall Santa and he's in there and he feels bad for him, and so he buys his drinks, and then Santa leaves and he's going off, and he comes across True, and he comes down the chimney. He's drinking a little bourbon out of this like rich, you know, bar that they've got going on, and he's just like in a vibrating chair thinking about what his life and like what decisions he's made up to this point. And then of course the attack starts and Santa's got to make a decision. Like, is he going to help this little girl who is on his nice list? And then he pulls open his list and like all these guys that are doing this deed are on the naughty list. So he's got to kind of take some action here and kind of regain some of that hope in the kids like of the world and humanity a little bit. And so the one thing I will say I like about this movie is the action is all superb. The kills are awesome. All of that works. But I do like that we get a little bit of a snippet into like the past life of like this character. He has not just like always been Santa Claus, and he doesn't really understand all of how his magic works. Like, he's got his sack and he just pulls out toys. He's like, I don't understand how it works. I just pull out toys and it's what the kid wants. And so I like that aspect of that. We're just gonna not have like all these kills and the brutality. There's gonna be a slight story, and that's why I say it's like it's got a little bit of heart in it, because the relationship between Santa Claus and True is something I did not expect. That's where this movie is very unexpected, and that like there's a lot of heart in that relationship, and not just there, but in the family and her trying to get her parents back together. And them learning somewhat of a lesson by the end of all this, because that everything is not just about greed. Obviously, it's very cliched in that aspect, but I did enjoy the resolution of everything that we got here, and that maybe we do need to believe in Santa just a tiny bit. You know, maybe something good will come along. So the things, again, that I really like about this movie are the kills. The kills are where this movie shines, and David Harbour at the center of this is awesome. Okay, so I do have one like minor gripe with this movie. It didn't like distract from my enjoyment of the movie. I just feel like it could have been paced a little better. So there's a point about a quarter of the way through where we kind of slow down, where you do get that backstory of who Santa Claus is a little bit, and I just feel like it was like awkwardly timed. Like he kind of falls and bumps his head, and you get a little glimpse of this, and then we get a story a little bit later on where he's like telling this tale of his past life. And I just feel like it kind of like slowed the movie down when it was starting to kind of like build, and then it kind of just halts for a minute, for about 10-15 minutes, and we get this like, you know, kind of belabored backstory, which I liked. I just feel like, I don't know, we could have like started out with that or something else. I don't know. I don't know where it could have gone in the movie, but I just feel like it slowed down just a little bit, and then we picked back up for the rest of the movie. So overall, I think this is a very enjoyable movie. Like I said, know what you're getting in for. This is a action movie that stars Santa Claus, and it's kind of in that vein of like Nobody. I think Nobody's a better movie, but I think this was a lot more fun. I think because of like the time it takes place and just having actual Santa Claus kind of in and mixing in like his style of kills is a little different, and I just thought adding that little bit of heart into it. So that's pretty much all I've got on the movie. I am going to talk about my favorite kills after the outro, so if you want to stick around for those, if you've seen the movie, or if you just don't care about spoilers and you're going to wait for this movie, stick around for that. But that's all I've got. So if you like what I do, consider becoming part of the collective. Like always, some doors should never be opened. Okay, so let's get into these kills. Spoilers. And so my 3 favorite kills. There's one where David Harbour puts on a pair of skates and he basically just punches people with it and he slits their throat with it. That one's awesome. There's a point where he like ties all these guys up in a shed into like this mulcher thing. That's also awesome. And the very last kill is my very favorite. They saved the best for last, definitely. It's like that present that you have to wait for and you get to unwrap, and it's awesome. It's what you wanted. It's that Nintendo 64 with Ocarina of Time that you got. But it is David Harbour clinching John Leguizamo's character and kind of holding, there's this old chimney that's from like an abandoned building that's kind of fallen down. He grabs him, hits his nose, he does a little bit of his magic, shoots up the chimney, crushes John Leguizamo's character, blood spouts out everywhere, and he's basically just like this little ball. And it was fantastic. Good cap to all the kills in the movie, so I really thoroughly enjoyed that one. All right, guys, so that's my favorite kills. Like I said, let me know if you guys are seeing this movie this weekend, if you like it. But that's all I've got, so I hope you guys have a great weekend. And Christmas has begun, so it's time for all the Christmas horror movies to begin. So look forward to that on the channel all this month. We've got a lot of exciting things coming. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.